Comparison is the thief of joy. These words, often attributed to Theodore Roosevelt, hold a truth that echoes across generations. Yet, even in a world filled with wisdom from thinkers like Napoleon Hill and creators like Steve Jobs, so many of us still fall into the same trap, comparing our lives, our progress, and our worth to others. Have you ever scrolled through social media and felt a quiet sadness whisper, "I'm not doing enough"? Why do we measure our happiness through someone else's success? Today's story might just change that thought forever. Stay with me till the end, because not only will you learn a powerful lesson about self-acceptance, but you'll also discover a few vibrant new words to enrich your English and your mindset. Once upon a time, in a small, tranquil village surrounded by a lush forest, lived a young man named Ethan. He was diligent, generous, and full of potential. But there was one habit that constantly stole his peace. He couldn't stop comparing himself to others. Every day, Ethan would watch his friend Liam receive top grades and think, "Why can't I be that smart?" When his wealthy neighbor Ryan passed by in fine clothes, Ethan would sigh, "If only I had money like him." Even watching others run faster made him whisper, "I wish I could do that." These thoughts wrapped around him like invisible chains, holding him back from enjoying his own life. The more he compared, the more miserable he became. His mind felt cluttered, his days dull. He studied less, smiled less, and slowly began to believe that he was destined to be less than everyone else. One afternoon, a wise elder named Grandpa Joe arrived in the village. He was known for his radiant calmness and the gentle wisdom that shone in his eyes. People said he could turn confusion into clarity with just a few words. Ethan decided to approach him and said softly, "Grandpa, I try so hard, but every time I see someone doing better, I feel sad. I feel like I'll never be enough." Grandpa Joe smiled kindly and said, "Meet me tomorrow morning by the oldest tree near the forest. You'll find your answer there." The next morning, as golden sunlight filtered through the trees, Ethan arrived. Grandpa Joe was already waiting beneath a grand old tree whose branches stretched high like open arms.
"Look around," the old man said. "Tell me, what do you see?" Ethan observed carefully. "There are so many trees," he said. "Some tall, some short, some full of fruits, and some with none." Grandpa Joe nodded. "Now, imagine if the apple tree looked at the coconut tree and said, 'Why am I so short?' Or if the coconut tree wished for sweet fruits instead of hard shells. Wouldn't that sound absurd?" Ethan chuckled. "That would be ridiculous, Grandpa." "Exactly," Grandpa Joe said. "Every tree in this forest is unique. Together, they make the forest beautiful and balanced. Each one contributes in its own way." Then Grandpa Joe led Ethan to a quiet pond. Fish glided gracefully beneath the surface, while above, a bright bird soared effortlessly across the sky. The elder pointed and asked, "What would happen if the fish wished to fly like the bird?" Ethan smiled and replied, "It wouldn't make sense. Fish are made for swimming, not flying." Grandpa Joe's eyes twinkled. "Then why," he asked gently, "do you wish to live someone else's life? You have gifts of your own. Perhaps you just haven't discovered them yet. When you stop comparing, you start seeing. When you start seeing, you start growing." In that moment, something shifted inside Ethan. It was as if a heavy fog in his heart had finally lifted. For the first time, he saw that comparing himself had blinded him to his own strengths. He realized that true growth begins not with envy, but with appreciation. From that day on, Ethan made a quiet promise to himself: no more comparisons. He began focusing on his own progress, reading more, practicing his skills, and helping others in his community. His days felt vibrant again, filled with purpose instead of pressure. Years passed. Ethan's consistency and small habits led to great change. He started a modest workshop that soon grew into a thriving business. People admired his dedication and came to him for advice. One day, a young villager asked him, "Ethan, what's your secret to success?" Ethan smiled, recalling the lesson that had transformed his life. "Never compare yourself with others," he said. "If a fish tries to fly, it will always feel like a failure. But when it swims, it masters the ocean." His words spread through the village like sunlight breaking through clouds. People began valuing their own paths, their own timing, and peace returned to many hearts. So, remember this: the sun and the moon never shine at the same time, yet both light up the world in their own way. You are not behind. You are on your own journey. The universe has its rhythm, and your part in it is irreplaceable. If you ever feel left behind, pause and remind yourself: comparison creates confusion, but acceptance creates confidence. Focus on your lane, your growth, your unique rhythm. That's where true success and happiness live. If this story touched your heart, give it a like and share it with someone who needs this message today. And tell me in the comments, what's one thing you'll stop comparing from now on? Remember, you are enough. Keep walking your path, and I'll see you again in the next wordy tale.